This is the best way to grind effectively. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? NoGoodEman coming to you today with the most effective ways to farm for your account. So guys, in this video, I want to teach you guys the best effective farming methods that can get you guys a multitude of resources. We're talking about gold, we're talking about artifacts, and even more. But before we talk a single thing, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss a live or not below. Now, the first thing to talk about might be the passive farming currently within the game. That's going to be JINHO'S Strike Squad. So let's go ahead and talk about it right now. JINHO'S Strike Squad is going to give you guys a multitude of resources depending on the farming that you do within the gate dispatch. Now, I'm not gonna talk about just how to guide you guys through it. The most important things to know is through association bounty or gate dispatch, you can get various different resources. If we look at the bounty right now, you just defeat a specific boss in a specific chapter, and then you'll get a reward for it. As you can see, this one's complete because I defeated Red Main Lycan in chapter 3. Now, I will say, the rewards for it aren't the greatest, right? But I will say for the association gate dispatch, this one is a tad bit better. So I have about 4 gates because I have it almost maxed out, but let's go ahead and hit a claim on and see how we get. So we get 7,500 tokens, we get a few of the gate tokens, and then we get some powders of blessing. This is just quick and easy. This is just quick and easy, effective mining. And how it works, I believe if I do 3 more battles, this red gate will disappear and I'll be able to claim that. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. I don't know too much how it works. I just know I play a few missions and then it's ready. So I think the number that it says right by the swords is how many games or how many gates you have to play before it unlocks. But regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and dispatch some hunters here. I usually just go down to the bottom and dispatch my weakest crew. I don't know the most ways to go about it, but you do want to pay attention to the requirement that the gate looks for. So recommended stats, attack. The last one was HP, so I could dispense just about anyone, but this one is attack. Not all my units scale off of attack, so some of them might not be able to be useful in there. As you guys see, insufficient attack, right, for Li Juhi, insufficient attack for Saw Jiwoo, because those are units that scale off of HP, and then you can't use the units that you did just use. So again, we're just going to go from the bottom, and yeah, you definitely want to pay attention to that, because I think one of these will be defense. If I just try to look for a defensive one, you won't be able to use, let's say, all your units. This one's S rank and it's HP based. So let's see how many units actually have a lot of HP. Let's see if I have 4 units that have a lot of HP, right? Unable to use it for dispatch, insufficient HP, right? So again, you will be limited in the hunters you can use if you do get a defensive one. So just pay attention, do mainly HP or do attack, either or, really doesn't matter. And then I will say for your strike squad management, if you're wondering the best ways to grind this, I'm currently only focused on gate management. In fact, I can upgrade this right now, so we're going to do that. At S rank, you will get, oh, I just went away from it, but we get the S rank buff. I believe it increases the amount of gates I can hold. Let's go ahead and see if I'm right. I am right. So it increased the number of gates I can hold. I can now do another one. I can also rescan at a higher difficulty. I forgot to do that since I leveled up. You can rescan once for free, and then if you want to rescan again, it's going to be 500 gold. I'm gonna be honest, this game mode right now isn't that good for you guys to just be rescanning, unless at higher levels it gets better, which I assume it does, of course. But we're just gonna go ahead and just grab any one of these gates. Let's just get this one. It's HP based, it's a dungeon break. I currently favor dungeon breaks. I don't really know too much of a difference between dungeon breaks, regular gates, red gates. It obviously gives you different rewards, but I'm just going ahead and doing gates that are not blue, I suppose. If you guys have a different strategy, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And that's our last one. Now, we're talking about that. Of course, they're gonna give you guys hunter missions that allow you guys to get that material that I just had that I could upgrade with, right? Whether it was the strike squad reputation. And this also is an effective gold farming method. So you wanna pay attention to the hunter missions in here. These do reset like every 6 hours, so this is going to be one of the more places that you want to look for. Apart from that, of course, guys, story mode is going to be one of the best places you can get pretty much all the resources in the game. Gold, artifacts, weapon materials, potions, or spirit breath for your potions, shadow materials, artifact chips, whatever the case. So that one's kind of straight, simple, and forward. But along with story mode, make sure you're looking at those challenges. Your challenges are going to be very key, especially early on while you're lacking on a bunch of resources. Your challenges are going to help you out, man. So don't knack on the challenges, because you have the ability to get a lot, and I mean a lot of gold, especially early on. We're looking at chapter 5 that gives you guys 20k gold just by clearing encore missions, just by crafting a C grade weapon, and C grade is relatively low, especially early on. You definitely will have the resources for that. So make sure you pay attention to that. Along with that, they're going to give you guys hunter reports. With the hunter reports, remember, you can quick hire a hunter and you don't have to worry about any of the 100 coins or the hunt recruitment, yada, yada, yada. Early on, they give you guys a lot for these. There's 2 in this chapter. There's 1 in the next one. And this one I should have been unlocked just by playing a freaking mini game. I don't even have to win. I could just stack tank one time, die 3 times in a row, and then boom, I have the hunter report. So pay attention to story mode, of course, but also pay attention to those challenges. And then, of course, Monarch's Road, like I said, it kind of works like a battle pass system. This is pretty decent. I will say, when you get it to around level 33, this one asks for a lot, and I mean a lot of the hunt coins, or not the hunt coins, but the gate tokens. If we go ahead and claim this, I'm getting a bunch, and I mean a bunch of rewards. Now it's getting a little bit better past level, I think like 30. We're getting 90 powder of blessing. That'll allow me to fuse 3 blessing stones, and then who knows what I could get from that, right? So effective farming in there as well. Now, let's go ahead and talk about something specifically. I think that the best way that you guys want to farm, the best thing that you can farm and the best way to farm is going to be a red gate within SLA. Now, as far as red gates, there are only 3 chapters that you guys can play red gates on. Of course, the first one is going to be chapter 6 where the red gate first appeared. And then it's also going to be chapter 7, the rule of the lower floors. And then the last place is going to be chapter 9, S rank porter. Of course, I personally recommend, and I've been saying this on stream and in multiple videos, the desert map is honestly one of the easier maps to navigate, and I will say that the red gate map in chapter 6, I find myself to lag a lot in that right now. I think when offline mode comes eventually, it's going to be a better place to be grinding, but right now, chapter 7, or of course you could do chapter 9, but I know a lot of you guys watching might not have chapter 9 unlocked, so chapter 7 is probably going to be a sweet spot for a lot of you guys. If you guys are grinding chapter 7, you guys can do a multitude of things, right? The first thing you can do is set the gate to level 1 and just do some passive grinding. This could be for just about anything. This could be for your gold. This could be for, let's say, blessing stones. This could be for the first clear reward, right? Because this gives you guys a hunter report. Again, super important for getting your hunters. This could be for any type of modules that you might need for weapon crafting. And then don't forget about the passive drops that's around the map that you guys can farm effectively, right? So pay attention to each of that. Don't forget the boss monster, the final boss monster at least. He's going to drop at least one of these materials right here, and then you will get a first clear reward. So make sure you grind out the red gate. Make sure you grind it out for those first clear rewards. If you look at the 2-star effect, you're actually getting a spirit breath, which I haven't unlocked yet. So I'm gonna need to go ahead and do that in a bit. 3-star reward, 4-star reward, and I will say, as the rewards or as the level gets higher, you have the ability to get way better artifacts. So look at this one, but if we go to level 7, now look at it, right? So offering tier 10 gear if you're around level 45 or relative to that, and if you're not level 45 but you still want to have the ability to grind this type of gear, try a co-op lobby. If you got your friends that play Overdrive, ask them, hey, can you help me level up? Can you help me grind some better gear? Now, of course, you're not guaranteed this gear. You're not guaranteed one of these drops, right? Tier 10 gear is extremely, and I mean extremely rare to the community, but you have the ability to grind just about everything else, right? When we're talking about Viper Blossoms, this is going to be super important for crafting those A and S rank weapons later on when you have the ability to. So make sure you go ahead and just get in a gate, grind the things that's around, beat the mobs, and get each and every material possible. Of course, this is going to drop hunt coins, and this is also going to drop gold. So the most effective way to grind is going to be a red gate. I think that the importance of red gates should be emphasized right here. So I hope you guys are hearing me. Red gate is going to be probably your bread and butter, right? Whether you're grinding high level red gates or whether you're just grinding low level red gates so you can get a bunch of materials. And then something to keep in mind, right? Because I haven't mentioned it yet. Materials for your shadows, right? You're going to need something to upgrade your shadows, whether that's going to be, let's say, what does it take? It takes shadow energy, and also it might also take the traces of shadows when you're trying to rank up a shadow. You're going to want to grind red gates for that as well. So red gates is especially going to be useful for grinding shadow energy and then abyssal fragments that allows you to upgrade your shadows as well, because as you guys defeat bosses, every now and then a boss will have a shadow extraction prompt listed on their screen. If you go ahead and extract that, that is going to be an effective way. So again, red gate, chapter 6, chapter 7, and chapter 9. That is going to allow you to now grind all those mobs on the ground. I will say, go ahead, just drop the difficulty. If you're really trying to just farm shadow energy, shadow abysmal fragments, and whatever the case, turn it all the way to level 1, grind. Now, keep in mind, if you're doing chapter 9, it's going to start at a higher difficulty, because if you're at chapter 9, you should be a pretty high difficulty already. But if we go down to chapter 6, we look at this one. drop the difficulty. This starts at level 21. So again, I know I said I don't favor the Redgate map on this map, but hey, maybe your PC runs a little bit better. I think everybody kind of lags on this map. If you made it this far, what's your experience on this map? Do you lag or not? I gotta know. Regardless, once you have the ability, you can of course tune the difficulty. And then in that, I do want to mention that the first clear reward also gives you a heroic blessing stone once you get to a high enough tier. So a great reason to grind is going to be for that alone. And that's going to be a great reason to grind each and every star that happens, right? I'm level 50 something, so I could do just about all the way to 8 stars, I believe, solo. I think co-op is going to give me a bit more difficulty because the bosses tend to have a bit more health, a bit more attack, and whatever the case may be. But keep in mind, none of this is time. So you have just about a lot, and I mean a lot of opportunities. And when you're grinding Redgates, I'm going to go ahead and just say the free game that I said in my last video, just in case you didn't watch it. But something to keep in mind, if you're doing Redgates, go to your vending machine and purchase protein drink. If you're doing protein drink, there's a small chance to obtain a potion upon defeating a monster. A Redgate is very long and tedious. You're gonna have to defeat either a bunch of small mobs or beat a couple of boss monsters before the real boss monster, that dragon, appears. So in that, go ahead and grab protein drink, and then when you're doing your potions, make sure you have Brigadurians equipped. If you guys have this equipped, there's a chance that when you consume the potion, it will not decrease the number of potions the user has. And if you're doing a Redgate and you're like, man, I need survivability, of course, go to your Jinho, equip daily quests to completion, or hopefully you just didn't take it off, and make sure you have a little bit of points in vitality, because vitality is going to be very, very useful for increasing your potion recovery rate. So that's going to help you get a bunch more health on your recovery, and then it also does give you a bunch of HP. All in all, if you're low on resources, trust me, I get it. After playing the game for about over 40 hours, I have run into times where I'm super low on resources and I feel like, man, there is no way I can get a bunch of resources anyhow, right? I'm broke on gold, I'm broke on this, I'm broke on that, I can't do anything. But trust me, the days do get better as we're rocking 73k gold, we're rocking a bunch of hunt coins, and I did just claim those Monarch's roads, so my gate tokens are a little bit less, but you just saw me claim it. Regardless, guys, what do you guys think of the effective farming methods within SLA Overdrive? What is your personal grinding method? What is your personal favorite farming method? Go ahead and leave your thoughts, theories, and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Peace.